Hi and welcome to my Vanda space. I just watered them from the hose and I thought it will be a good time to make an update because I do have something to share, and that something is buds. Look, I have a bunch of buds on my Trichoglottis. Trichoglottis philippinensis or Trichoglottis brachiata philippinensis. They're buds. And I noticed that it creates buds on the new nodes. So last year it bloomed. See, those are old nodes and they're unused. And so the new buds appear on the new growth. I was hoping that it could reuse the old nodes, but it doesn't. And yeah, I had this Trichoglottis log that is mounted on in a pot, but it became so tall and heavy, top heavy, that the pot was flipping all the time. So I decided to create this kind of community basket. See, there is a mount with Trichoglottis and mount with 3 Vanda seedlings. Those are Vanda tricolor that I grew from flask. So I put them together first to save some space, and secondly they are kind of fit perfectly into that basket. And I also added some rocks to hold them straight. I was trying to tie them with some fishing line, but it didn't work, but rocks helped. And so now I have this kind of artistic creation. And of course it grows and it produces lots of roots on the stem. So now it's becoming a big mess of leaves and roots in this corner, but that's okay. I mean, that's probably how they grow in the wild, so I don't mind. The main point is I'm going to get the flowers pretty soon. Yeah. And other Vandas here are doing great. I think they like this space. This is my recently purchased Vanda Perez, who is producing lots of fruits right now. My Vandopsis gigantea finally started to show some action. It's grown one full leaf this summer and started new one. This one Aerides flabellata that I got from Rhynchostylis. And look, it started to give me so many roots, new root tips. So I think it's adjusting well and looks good. Hopefully I will get some blooms, because if I don't it will be too embarrassing. She could bloom it a lot. Look how many there are old spikes on it. So hopefully I can do that too. And then here is my Paravanda Estrellita Rosada. This is a purchase that I was very disappointed with because it had no roots and it was so dehydrated when it came, like in a box. It was already all wrinkled. See? But I was kind of spraying it every day, and look, there are 2 new roots on the back growth, and there is 1 new root on this one, on the front growth. And this front growth has actually a spike. I don't know if you can see it. It's hard to show. Yeah. There is a spike there. So I'm going around this orchid and chanting, grow the roots, don't grow the spike. Grow the roots, don't grow the spike. Because if it starts to grow the spike right now, it'll be suicide. It needs to grow the roots to get rid of these wrinkles, to hydrate properly. So I'm hoping it's smart enough to not grow the spike right now. That's probably the only case when I would prefer the roots to the spike on Vanda. So that's Estrellita Rosada, really huge plant, I like it. Hopefully it rehydrates, because right now it looks kind of sad. And another interesting observation is this another Paravanda that I got called Orange Delight, I think. Bresketsal has the same one, and hers bloomed, came with a spike. And mine came with something that was growing here at the base, and I thought it was, focus, I thought it was a cakey, but look, it looks like a spike too. That is very exciting. So I might find myself with a Paravanda blooms soon. And it's interesting how the plant is so small and the position of that spike is very weird. Usually cakeys come from the base, not the spike, but I guess the fact that it's Paravanda, not Vanda, makes it possible. So, looking forward to blooms on that one. Now this is Arachnis labrosa that I recently posted as a mystery plant, and as it opens, it becomes more spidery looking. See, there are more petals unfolding. And I think it's actually really neat. And it is fragrant during the day. A sweet fragrance comes out. So I'm kind of okay with this plant not being Vanda concolor. I mean, I can always buy another Vanda concolor. But I've never seen this Arachnis labrosa for sale here, so it's kind of rare, I think, maybe. So now I have it. And the good thing about this Arachnis is that it blooms and grows easily here in northern conditions without any artificial lights, which is good. So I might look into more Arachnis species. There must be some with bigger and more interesting flowers. I think Dot Tropicals has one with really colorful flowers. I forgot the name right now, but it's on my wish list. And now moving forward, here are two Vandas that spent summer outside. This is Vanda tricolor. This is the plant that I grow from very small seedling, like tiny 3-leaf seedlings I bought. And so this one grows for probably 7 years, even more. See, it's huge now, but it never bloomed yet. So I took it outside for the summer, hoping that being outside in the sun would trigger the spike, but it didn't. The nights got cold and we had lots of rains, so I took it inside. Forget it. Maybe it's not ready yet, I don't know. So that's Vanda tricolor. And this is Vanda MV Tannins that I got from Crystal Star. This is the one that was the thickest roots I ever seen. The roots are as thick as my fingers. So I'm hoping, it came with a spike, but the spike dried out because of shipping, I guess, because it was shipped for a long time in a box. So I'm hoping for a new spike to come out at some point. Other than that, it's doing well. There's so, look at these roots. It's growing a lot of roots. And this is my grief. It doesn't bloom. This is Vanda tessellata blue, that I have for like 3 or 4 years now. Look how huge it is. It's growing and growing and growing, and it doesn't bloom. And it spent a summer outside too. See how much sun it was receiving. There's lots of purple patches in it, but it still didn't want to bloom. Now, it was When I brought it inside, it had so many bugs hiding in between the leaves, ants and spiders and some long creatures with many legs. I don't know what they're called. So they started coming out in my kitchen and running around. I almost freaked out. I don't think I want to take them outside next summer. Just keep them inside because it didn't help anyways. Maybe they're just not ready yet. I don't know how they decide when to bloom, but yeah, this one doesn't bloom. It's a one stubborn plant. And this one here is Vanda denisoniana that I just recently bought this summer. I bought from Tropical Gardens. It's a growing nice roots. We'll see if it will bloom. That's my Rhynchostylis gigantea orange, which finally decided to grow some roots. Look, there are some new root tips appeared this year, so that's a good sign. And there's a new leaf starting there, so maybe next year it will have 7 leaves, so it might be ready to bloom, hopefully. And this is my Vanda scandens, who is well, it's growing some roots. It was an imported plant that usually they just shed off the old roots, but now it's trying to grow some. It's not a small one, so I gave it a big basket right away, so I don't need to move it later. I know it looks ridiculous, so little roots in such a big basket, but I'm just thinking ahead. And now it has its space, so then it can continue to grow if it wants to. And yeah, this is another set of Vanda tricolor seedlings that I have. I put them into a community basket because I don't have space to put them separately. This is from the flask that I bought. I still have 3 here and 3 on that log over there. And oh yeah, and there is another Vanda denisoniana which had problems with the top. The top leaves for some reason got brown and dried up. I'm not terribly worried because there's lots of roots, and even if top dies, it should produce the keiki. I put cinnamon in it, but there's no rotting, like wet rotting. It was kind of like a brown drying. I don't know what it is. Hopefully the top will regrow or it'll produce keiki. But other than that, the roots looking great on that plant. So those are all the Vandas that I have in this area, and so there are 2 plants that will be blooming soon. Trichoglottis and that Paravanda orange delight. And here's my second Vanda space, because obviously all my Vandas couldn't fit into that little corner in my bathroom. So I have seedlings here. This is luzonica and this is Vanda foetida. And notice I put some coconut husk chips into baskets because they used to be in a tank, and in humid tank they were okay for 2-3 days for watering every 2-3 days. But in those little baskets outside of tank, they're drying out too much. So I put those cocoa chips to keep the humidity a little bit longer, so I could still just water them every 2-3 days instead of every day. So those are, as I said, luzonica, foetida. This is the 2 Vanda brunneas, brunnea guangzhou, that I bought from Hangduan Mountain Labs. I bought the flask, so I deflasked those myself. Those are 2 seedlings that I kept. I didn't keep all flask, obviously. It will be too much, but those 2 I have. And here are the Vanda insignis and Vanda pumila, Trudelia pumila. So those are my seedlings. They're doing good here. They're getting sun in early. Right now it's early morning, so they get in early morning sun, and then it's just bright light sun. They don't need too much sun right now, and they need to grow, not to bloom. So they're fine here. And here hanging are my Vandas too. This is Vanda dearei crossed insignis or Nelli Svasti, which I bought as very tiny seedling from Clouds. Now I think it's blooming size, and I'm hoping that it will maybe bloom next year, hopefully. This is Aerides lawrenceana that I just recently bought from Tropical Gardens. There were old roots that kind of were rotting, but now it's producing me so many new roots, so I'm happy with it. It's doing good here. It is a large plant that never bloomed, but I'm hoping that maybe it'll bloom here. The website, Tropical Gardens website, says it doesn't need too much sun for blooming, so it likes light shade. I think it'll be good here. It's not as much light, as much sun as in the bathroom, but still bright light. And this one is, see, the light is coming from the window. It's all dark, but you get the idea. This is the dearei crossed with limbata. That's another plant that was bought from Clouds as tiny seedling. Now it's really big. The leaves are really long. It's the limbata is a giant Vanda, and dearei is not small. So this has potential to grow very big. Hopefully it'll bloom someday. And here are two Vandas. This one is Rothschildiana, which you know. It just finished blooming. I just cut off the spike here, literally yesterday. No, actually not yesterday, but a couple days ago. And yeah, we'll see if it'll bloom again. And this one is Vanda coerulea that I just got from Crystal Star Nursery this year. And look, there is a spike. And the interesting thing is that it was here all the time, so it produced spike right here. No direct sun. Look, it's very far from the window. So Vanda coerulea does not need direct sun to produce the spike. That's interesting. I thought all Vandas need a lot of light for blooming, but not. And also look, it's a huge plant that never bloomed before. So I was worried that it will never bloom for me, just like tessellata, but no, I got the spike. I'm really happy about it, look. So that's why I put Rothschildiana here too, because I think if coerulea can bloom here, maybe Rothschildiana will bloom here too. Oh, that's just to save the space, because this space is not very suitable probably for other Vandas. But if they can bloom here, then they can be here. So that's my Vanda tour. Vanda is my favorite genus. That's why I have so many of them. And yeah, I have some spikes to look forward to. Thank you for watching and have a nice day.